Okay, today we're going to try to run an outboard engine on this Hobie TI. Real simple bracket system. Since there wasn't a rail system on the back, I ordered one from China. I ordered this one because it's really thick aluminum. Seems to be really solid. Has screw holes all the way down through here, so it's rock solid. Mounted it to the kayak, both sides. The transom, all it is 1.5 inch by 2 inch aluminum rectangular tubing. All right, and I believe that's 1/8 inch thick. And then it's simply nut and bolt that goes all the way through, cinched down with a lock washer. Okay, pretty simple. This is a 3-foot section of aluminum tubing made out of the exact same stuff here. All right, now as far as mounting to the track, this is the little jewel that I created for that. This is super easy to do. In fact, anybody that's into DIY, there's no reason for me to even to go through step by step, because you'll know how to do this. All this is a stainless steel bolt, and what I did was I took a small piece of aluminum, cut it to, what is that, about 1 inch long or so, and then I drilled a hole through it that's just slightly smaller than the bolt itself. That way, whenever I crank down on this bolt into the hole, I basically tap out this portion of the aluminum and create threads inside the aluminum. And once I get it threaded all the way through there, then I use 2-part epoxy. This end here is where the head was on the bolt. Just cut that off with a hacksaw, and voila, that slides right in there like that. It goes up through the holes, and then up here is a wing nut. So I'm fixing to install that right now. Okay, little pro tip. Okay, with about every kayak, very few of them are built exactly flush and flat. Most of them have a little bit of a cant to them. So when you mount your rail system here, it may have a slight cant off to the side. And what you want to do to counter that is make sure you bore your holes out big enough to allow for these bolts to be tilted just a little bit. This kayak's pretty flat, but it still has just a very, very slight cant to it. So anyways, just make sure you give yourself plenty of room in here so you're not fighting these bolts trying to get this transom down on the bolts. Okay, it is mounted up. Looks pretty good. Really solid too. Alright, and what I'm going to be mounting to that transom is this little Coleman outboard engine, 2.5, nope, 2.6. So it's a little dirty, but it's brand new. I don't even have it fully broke in yet, and so I can only run it full throttle for like 5 minutes at a time. But anyways, I'm going to check the fluids on this, make sure everything is topped off on it and loaded up, and we're going to head down to the lake and try this out. Okay, I'm keeping things very simple and uncomplicated today. I'm not putting up a mast, I'm not using my hakas, I'm not using my trampolines, I'm not using my roll bar, nothing. I'm using just the basic kayak with the outriggers. And keep in mind, this stuff is all put together with nuts and bolts. Nuts and bolts can loosen up over time, especially with any kind of vibration. Always make sure you test this stuff. Make sure everything's nice and tight. Otherwise, you're going to have a disappointing day. Make sure whenever you hook up your outboard, it's going to have a spot for an anchor point. Make sure you tie that outboard off to your boat somewhere, where in case your outboard does go over, if something strips out or a nut comes loose and it dumps your outboard, it won't get completely away from you. It'll at least be tethered to some anchor point on the kayak. It's very, very important. All right, with that being said, let's go ahead and get this kayak in the water. All right, I went ahead and tried it. it's riding just fine. It's not tilting that kayak over at all. It's perfect. So I believe that's the way I'll back down into the water. Setting really good. I'll just need to make sure that I loosen the vent cap here when I start this thing. Okay, it is set up. Now, just for clarification, this is not going to be my normal mode of transportation with an outboard engine on a kayak. There's a very specific reason I have an outboard mounted on here. And this is going to be in situations where I'm like when we go down to Mississippi and we stay at one of those beach houses, and Horn Island is 8 miles offshore. All right, this thing will allow me, instead of sailing all the way out there, this will allow me to do a straight shot right to the tip of Horn Island and not waste any time. Especially coming back. For some reason, as I'm sure a lot of you have seen in my videos, coming back we always seem to run into afternoon storms and all heck breaks loose out there. And so this little outboard engine, hopefully we could drop this thing down and cruise at a pretty good rate straight across the water, and hopefully outrun any storms that are coming in. Otherwise, I'm going to be using my sail or my pedal drives. So anyways, with that being said, let me get out there on the lake and see what happens. Started. Really good idea to make sure you're totally familiar with your damn engine. I had a gas shutoff valve on the back of this thing. Oops. So anyways, open up the gas and I'll be dang, it started. So we're fixed to go here. Gonna idle down, put it in first gear. Here we go. I may have the engine a little too low, it looks like. Getting a lot of water coming over the side here and probably going down in here. But man, this is just barely, this is down at idle in first gear and I'm already moving at a pretty good little clip. Pretty good up here also, moving across the water a good clip. So I'm gonna back it down. Actually, I don't want to get a bunch of water in my hole. Anyways, I'm gonna fire it back up and I'm gonna play with the tiller, and then I'm gonna play with the rudder system on the Hobie TI, see which one steers the best. So overall, it looks like it's gonna work really well for going offshore. Possibly keep me out of a bind. Alright, hope you enjoyed this short little video. But the transom for these outboards is super easy to rig up. And if you're going to be going like offshore, stuff of that nature, you might want to consider it. If you're going way offshore or in areas where it's prone to have some bad storms, this might be a lifesaver. Alright, till later. Bye.